Hey friend, Colin here from Sumthins Recording, and today I'm going to show you one trick for a fatter kick drum sound. Today we're going to be looking at getting a fatter kick drum sound using low-end saturation, more specifically tape saturation. And this is going to help you get a beefier kick drum sound in your track without just using EQ. But before we dive in here, if you're ready to go a little bit deeper into the drum mixing process and really start to dial in your workflow, then you need to go through my 3-step framework for mixing drums workshop. This workshop's going to walk you through the simple 3-step process that I go through on almost every single one of my mixes to help you, I can't talk today, to help you dial in a repeatable workflow for cranking out professional sounding drum mixes right from your home studio. It is a completely free, 100% on-demand video training, and you can get instant access to that by clicking the link below in the video description. Now, hopefully that's the last of my vocal flubs today. Let's jump into the drum mix here, and let's take a look at this kick drum. Let me start, of course, as always, by playing you the mix here so you can hear how our drums fit into the track, and then I'll solo up our kick drum. It's a 4-on-the-floor beat here, so you're going to hear a lot of consistency on the kick drum, and then we'll dive into our tactics here. So here's our mix for this track. So you can hear it's a good sounding kick drum, it's a good sounding mix, it's got some bottom end to it, it's got some weight, and it stays very consistent throughout our track because it is 4 on the floor, so it's a foundational element here, but I want to give it some more beef. I want it to be a little bit heavier so our foundation feels more solid underneath our track as this kick drum's kind of pulsing along with the beat. So the way we're going to get that is by using some low-end saturation. So normally what I'm usually doing here is using an EQ here, and you can see I'm boosting some bottom end at the end of my chain. But what if we also do some low-end saturation? So instead of just leaving it to a couple low-end boosts at the end of our chain, let's pull in a tape machine here. This is going to be our first way we're going to look at it, and I'll show you an alternative as well in case you don't have, a tape machine plug in here. Now let's hit play and let's start to dial in the tape machine here on our kick drum. That's feeling pretty good here, so I went to the B type setting on the soft tube tape machine here. This is one of my favorite tape machines I've used. I haven't actually used the Slate Digital one. I've used most of the Wave ones here, but I kind of settled on the soft tube one because of this B setting. On this B setting, it gives you this very, very warm, very, very punchy sounding bottom end. We're up on the highest tape speed here, so 30 IPS, 30 inches per second here. And then I've dialed the amount up to exactly 7. I just want to be sitting up towards about the 7 here on the VU meter. Any higher than that, it started to feel too attack oriented and too punchy. It doesn't need to be extremely punchy. It's not a metal style track. I just want it to have some weight to it as we're kind of pulsing along with the beat of the song. This felt comfortable to me, so I'm going to hit play one more time and A-B this. Pay attention to how our bottom end changes on the kick drum. So without it and then with. can hear kind of that lower octave of punch and that lower octave of weight come in on our kick drum. So let's throw this inside the track now, and let's see what this tape machine is doing for our bottom end on this song as a whole. It's really going a long way to give our kick drum some depth, and especially because it's a 4 on the floor beat here, I want the kick drum to feel big, I want it to be weighty, I want it to have some consistent beef that's going to push this track forward, because that's what our kick drum is doing. It's really driving this track with a 4 on the floor beat. Now, if you don't have a tape machine plug-in, and especially if you're in Studio One here, a nice alternative is kind of to use their Ptech Emulation. You can usually get a Ptech Emulation for a lot cheaper than a tape machine. I know Waves Ptech goes for a pretty good price. So let's try this here, and let's try 30 first and see where we end up here. So let's turn this on. Same thing, I'm gonna solo up our kick drum, and we're gonna boost some lows with this Ptech. So it's still gonna give us some low end emphasis in terms of saturation, but we're kind of half and half now, right? Half EQ, half saturation. That's not bad there at 30. Let's go back and let's try 60 and see what we get here. Surprisingly, 20 feels the closest to me to that lower octave that the tape saturation is adding in, excuse me. So let's try this in the track. We're doing just a little bump here at 20 hertz, and let's see how this is adding inside the entire mix. Now, just for kicks here, that seemed pretty good. I bumped it up to 2 boosts there. Let's throw both in, and let's see what we get now. That's pretty in your face with the bottom end and the kick drum. That's a really, really punchy sounding kick drum. So if you want to go all the way, maybe a little boost on EQ, a little boost on tape saturation. Let's go back here though, and let's look just one more time at the tape saturation. This is really what we're talking about here. Instead of just boosting with EQ, try boosting some bottom end, try adding some bottom end with saturation. So we're using our tape machine here, just going up towards about the 7 on the VU meter, running it on the B setting to get that extra bottom end warmth, and then highest tape speed, 30 inches per second. One more time by itself and inside the entire track. So if you're looking for something to add some beef and add weight to your kick drum, try reaching for saturation instead of EQ next time, and especially tape saturation, adding a little bit of warmth to your bottom end to make your kick drum feel bigger inside the track. I hope that was helpful for you. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're ready to level up your drum mixes, then I have just the tool for you, and it is completely free. It is my 3-step framework for mixing drums. This is a completely free workshop, and it's going to help you dial in a repeatable workflow for cranking out professional sounding drum mixes right from your home studio. Like I said, 100% free to watch, and you can get access to that by clicking the link below in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.